There is so much to read in 2025. I'll get to it. But first, here are some of the top books from 2024. Which book lived up to the hype? Book Talk has let me down in the past. Red Rising was something that was recommended to me that I wasn't sure if I would trust it. And it took me 3 tries to actually get into it. But when I did, I loved it. My favorite new author this year, but I didn't know who Brandon Sanderson was until 2024. I decided to try Mistborn because, again, Book Talk kind of talked me into it. Tremendous, fabulous. And I get it now. Brandon Sanderson is a genius, literal genius. After Hero of Ages, I sat and just thought. And I liked Mistborn so much that I tried Tress of the Emerald Sea, which normally wouldn't be in my wheelhouse, but I heard it was patterned after The Princess Bride. Really enjoy it, highly recommend. The autobiographies that I read this year were Rob Lowe's Stories I Only Tell My Friends, which was fantastic. The takeaway there is if you're born at exactly the right time and you're super lucky your entire career, you can have a career like Rob Lowe. Sam Seaborn is one of my all-time favorite TV characters, so I couldn't get enough of this book. And I also enjoyed Britney Spears' Woman and Me. Now again, this isn't necessarily normally in my wheelhouse, but Britney Spears was the biggest thing when I was growing up. And hearing her story, she kind of disappeared. It was good. She did a good job with this book. I'm no longer a fan of Justin Timberlake or Kevin Federline. That's for sure. Which book had the best twists? That would have to be The Only One Left by Riley Sager. This was fantastic. A lot of good twists. I really enjoyed the story. It was well written and well paced. This was an easy one to finish. Which book was most outside my norm this year? That would be The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. This young girl makes a deal with the devil to avoid a prearranged marriage, and she gets immortality. But in exchange, anytime you leave her presence, you forget who she is. So she be at dinner with you, you leave the room and come back and you have never met her before. The relationship between her and the devil, Luke or whatever his name was, it was good. It really developed well, even though I kind of called the ending about halfway through the book and I almost stopped. I'm glad I finished it. This was a really good read. The best nonfiction book I read this year was The Wager by David Grann. It was fantastic. And it is a brutal account of 18th century sailors who there was murder and mutiny and they got shipwrecked, finally make it back, and then they put them on trial. And it's a true story. What was my most anticipated book of the year? This is easy. It was Angel of Vengeance by Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child. The Pendergast series is my all-time favorite series of any genre. And the newest book came out. Did they get Constance Green back? Did they travel through the timelines? It got a little wild. Really enjoyed this book. Highly anticipated and highly enjoyed it. What book surprised me the most? That is Dungeon Crawler Carl. This book is really big on TikTok. It's starting to blow up for good reason. It's like a mixture of the Hunger Games, but by aliens with a whole lot of rules. And if you can get past all the explanation of 1,000 rules of this game where these crawlers have to go through this dungeon on Earth. It's like a TV show by aliens. Once you get past all that, it is hilarious and a lot of fun. You never know what's going to happen next. I listened to the audiobook version of this and laughed out loud several times when the AI goes, "New achievement." So funny. And finally, what was my top read of the year? It's John Gwynne's Bloodsworn series. My brother is just finishing the series and called me today, freaking out because he's on book 3. It's absolutely phenomenal. The whole series is so good. It surprised me. It will be in the read every couple of years rotation.